I didn't plan to be here. The city had been too loud, too bright, too full of eyes that could guess everything about me and nothing at all. My legs, swollen and trembling, carried me to the shadow of an underpass. Concrete walls pressed in from every side, but it was quiet, quiet enough to hear the contractions before I even realized they were starting. I sank to the ground, back against the cold, rough stone. Each breath burned in my chest, my body heavy with months of accumulation, with anticipation, with fear. I thought, no one can know I'm here, no one can see this. And then she appeared. She did not speak at first, just knelt nearby, her hair a loose, tangled frame around a face that had seen too much. Her hands were steady as she offered a blanket. I hesitated, a fragile, instinctive pause that weighed as much as my body. She didn't flinch, didn't question, didn't ask for my name or my story. She simply helped me to lie down. Pain cut through the moment, sharp and relentless, and I realized I could not do this alone. Pride, wealth, identity, they were all irrelevant here. I was raw, and she was quiet, practical, present. "Breathe," she said finally, and it was not a command, it was a lifeline. Hours slipped in fragments, pain, sweat, trembling hands, murmured instructions, shivering. I hated how dependent I was, how small I felt, and yet I hated the idea of being alone more. She guided me through each contraction, through each sharp, sudden urge. My dignity, my carefully constructed life dissolved in the mud and cold. I could not hide who I was here, I only could survive. And then he arrived. A tiny, screaming life, slick and raw in my hands, and I thought, I've never been this scared, I've never been this grateful. She wrapped him gently, humming low, quiet notes that made the bridge feel like a sanctuary. For the first time I noticed, really noticed the lines on her face, the hands that bore scars and calluses and wisdom. She was my anchor, though I had no way to repay her, and perhaps no way to understand her fully. Night came slowly, stretching our shadows long against the concrete. I watched my baby's chest rise and fall and felt the weight of every assumption I had ever carried about life and status and who could be trusted. Outside, the city roared on. Inside, there was only the warmth of a shared vulnerability. Then, in the pale gray of dawn, authority arrived. A uniformed officer stepped onto the scene, eyes scanning, hands ready. My instinct was to panic. What now? Exposure? Questions? But she met him calmly, quietly asserting the rules of care, of safety. She explained, pointed, defended. The officer nodded, verified, stepped back. Control shifted, not violently, not cruelly, but undeniably. The chaos of the night gave way to structure, and yet nothing about me was erased. I had survived, my child had survived, she had survived. That was enough. By mid-morning the news came, almost casual in its shock. A headline announcing that the mother of the newborn found under the city bridge was in fact a millionaire. Social media erupted with irony, memes, debates, moralizing. Some people ridiculed, some people praised, but none could undo what had already happened. The fragile intimacy, the raw trust, the shared ordeal between two women whose worlds were otherwise unbridgeable. I held my baby close, the cold sun warming our small corner of the bridge. I felt hope, tinged with consequence. Hope that humanity could be found in unexpected places, that trust could cross social chasms, that life could surprise me even in the moments I felt most powerless. Consequences were waiting, social scrutiny, judgment, logistical headaches, but they were secondary to what I had learned, what I had felt, what I had survived. She watched me silently, the woman who had helped me give birth, her presence a quiet, undeniable authority that no city headline could diminish. I did not know what would happen next, who would approach, who would question, who would judge, but I knew that I would face it differently now, not with pride, not with denial, with recognition of the truth we had shared under the bridge. And for the first time in months, perhaps years, I allowed myself to breathe freely. The city had shifted, just a little, in response to us, and maybe, just maybe, so had I.